Oh, the old heads up to this longer podcast. It's all about cups of tea and living a life inductively. What does that mean? What it means is being more successful, more happy, more you fill in the blank than you ever could be. All by having some rules, which aren't rules, that create freedom. Confused? Yeah, I am too. But you won't be after this.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, my little unpluggers, we're back again, and I have a nice cup of coffee in hand, and I'm ready to talk about something which is really important. But before I do, I drink too much coffee, and I'm going to bet there's one or two of you out there that drink nice tea. I'm thinking of changing my coffee drinking to herbal tea drinking, but not that fruity stuff. I can't stand the fruity stuff, but I'd like to get something that would get my brain either to just chill a little bit or wake up a little bit, whatever. I've heard about the mushroom coffees, and I might try those, but if you've got any recommendations, please do email me. It would help me a lot. But anyway, that was an aside. I have my coffee. I'm ready to roll. You see, a little while ago, I was listening to, guess what, another podcast. And I heard this. It said, you're living in the danger zone if you're living a life without structure. What? You're living in the danger zone if you're living your life without structure. And my first reaction was, no way. I want total freedom. I want freedom to do what I please. I don't want rules. I don't want rules for my life. You know, isn't that what we all dream of? Well, I do. Having freedom. Freedom to express myself. Freedom to do whatever. Now, where did that original reaction come from? I had to think for a little while. You know, why was I so negative straight away without thinking? And I guess it's being told what and when to do things. Not being guided, but being told. And I don't like, even now, I don't like being told what to do, even though when I even know it's the right thing to do, I know what to do. I don't like being told. But then I thought, well, let's have a look at this a little deeper, a little wider, a little bigger. Let's go and explore it from the inside out. You see, I thought about, well, I do NLP trainings, timeline therapy trainings, and they have a structure. If it was total freedom and I just haphazardly just threw out bits of the processes, I'd end up totally confused. I would end up totally confused. The people I'm teaching would be totally confused, and it would be of no use to them at all. I do believe, though, in thinking and learning and teaching inductively and not deductively. Now, what's that? Well, inductively is like, to me anyway, is like creating the big picture from the specifics, which you can then use to, with total freedom, to think, to create, to blow out all the, the preconsidered boundaries. Because when you do that, you become really creative. You see things that weren't seen before. But that sort of has a structure as well, doesn't it? The mere fact that you're thinking inductively and not deductively is part of the structure of thinking. That got me confused now. So the things I like doing, things I have to do in my trainings to help people understand and get the best results for themselves, has to have a structure. And then I thought about, well, also taking this even further. Okay, when I went to trainings, there was obviously a structure. I didn't know what the structure was. Now, having done my own trainings, I understand you have these ways, there's covert understandings and lessons, there's overt meanings and intentions, but they're all part of a structure. And someone taught me to a structure. But again, it was like a structure with no rules, in the way that I was left to be creative. So it wasn't a case of, here's a process, it only works for this. It was, here's a process. What couldn't you use it for? Now that's a question that used to really blow my mind, because I could never come up with one. So basically it meant you get all these people worrying about, what process shall I use? Well, use anyone, because there's not a process you can't use. There's obviously sometimes a better process, but maybe there isn't. It's all about then having what ifs, I guess, what ifs in your life. And isn't that wonderful to have what ifs as part of a structure? You see, then all these thoughts I had, I want you to start thinking with me, if you would. What are the rules that you have, or the structures that you have that create freedom for you? And then what are the rules that actually constrict you? The deductive rules. See, I thought to myself, I go to the gym. I don't go to the gym and just haphazardly just go from one bit to the, one apparatus, and then I might go to the mat, and then I might do some kettlebells, and then I might do some stretch. What would happen if I stretched in the middle and then didn't stretch at the end? There is a structure that I think of before I go to the gym. And I remember thinking, when I'm driving to the gym, I'm thinking, what am I going to do first? What am I going to do second? What? And there's a what, and I'm going to talk about that what in a minute. I think of when I go to yoga. There's a structure there. There's that gentle warm-up. Then there's the structure of the moves, the positions that help your whole body. And sometimes they actually appear quite haphazard. But when you look back over them, there is a structure, but there's also the freedom to break away from that structure. But there's, even if you think about it, just in yoga, going into one position, there's a structure of ways to do that, to go into that one position, to get the most out of that position. You don't just lean over, you actually stretch from maybe your fingers, and then you bend from your hips, and then you stretch out. And it's only then do you fold. And when you fold, you put your mind into the muscles to let the muscles relax. As my daughter-in-law, who's a yoga trainer, says, let the gatekeeper of your muscles open the gate to that relaxation. And there was a structure of me going into that stretch and then really waiting for the gatekeeper, then breathing out and the gate's opening. It's awesome. But I don't think of that first. There's a way of going into the stretch and then relaxing. But it's freedom as well, because I can do it as much as I want. What else can you think of? If you were to cast your mind back through what you do, is there anything that doesn't really have a structure in its individual bits? You're talking about art, lovely creative way of being, just allowing the things to flow. But you learn art in some ways with a particular structure. Even when you're doing art, you may, have a structure for initially just sketching, lightly sketching, and then filling in deeper. And then maybe coming back with an eraser to get the highlights. There's a structure of knowing where the light source is coming from. So therefore, where are the shades? Everything has its own structure, even in creativity. Working on the computer, try doing that without a structure. Oh, I'll save first and then I'll go. What? I don't know where that one came from. Writing has a structure. Reading, you don't read backwards. We read from chapter 1. Sometimes our structure might be, depending what we're doing, whether we're like speed reading slightly, so we might skim. That has a structure. Taking notes. There are so many different ways of taking notes when you read, so you can learn. Now, there's a freedom in that because you don't have to follow that structure in completely, but it's a structure to start, to give you the foundation. And then you allow it like this inductive thinking. You then allow it to be the way that works for you. You can think, how will this work better? How can I do it? In all of this structure, though, what really makes structure work? Because you can see them as sometimes being rules, even though I've just said they're the rules of creativity, if that makes sense. What's the overriding, hidden, covert thing in all of this that we can bring overtly to our attention? It's called intention. Doing things for a reason. When we know the reason we're doing it, we then think of the best way we can achieve it. You're thinking of structure. You see, part of this thing I heard about, like you're living in the danger zone if you're not living your life without structure. It was as, you hear of most, not all, but most successful people are having morning and evening routines. Now, two things about that. One is, morning and evening routines are structured. Even though there's flexibility, because I do believe sometimes we tend to think, well, that's got to be a morning routine because that successful person does it that way. But no, that's the hint, the learning that you can use, learn what they do and then adapt it to yourself, but you'll still adapt that routine or put it into a routine. But the thing about it is, you don't have to be a successful person to use or have morning and evening routines. No. But if you want to be successful, you do need routines. Some of us call them rituals, and I call them rituals because I like the word rituals. It makes it, I can see things in my brain. I don't want to tell you what I'm thinking. But to just get a routine going. Now, we think about having morning and evening routines as being, to me, sacrosanct, and some parts of it maybe should be, or can be if it works for you. Sometimes we think of those morning routines as being, and I've talked to this before, is getting up at 4:30 in the morning and starting that. Well, actually, there's a routine of sleeping as well. And there's a need for the sleep that you need. But doing things in the morning that set your day off, doing things at maybe lunchtime that set your afternoon off, doing things in the evening that set your evening off, and doing things just before you go to sleep that set your sleep off. These are all morning, midday, or they're just routines, aren't they? They're rituals. Now, how can you do this though? If you really want to be successful, I have a mind to think, at the moment anyway, that you need to get these routines in place to become habits. So, because a habit with a real positive intention doesn't take any thinking about. A routine, I have to do this, is a rule. And for me, that rule would be, I'm not doing that. I'm not being told what to do because I've lost my intention again. So how can we start influencing ourselves to get into a routine, a structure? Well, here's a few of my hows, a few examples of what we can do. And it's what I'm doing. Because, again, I've noticed this morning, this is another personal note, I was writing in my journal, and I notice at different times, and I don't do it every day, but I was thinking, well, I've got lots of tools. I've created lots of tools. I'm going to create one for this podcast. So my hypnosis tracks, my hypnosis tracks for things like your own inner mastermind group. That's one of my free hypnosis tracks. Or some of my paid ones, but I can use them. I created them, I can pay for them. But I've got lots of different things that I can go to, the books that I know have got information. One of the things I've got to do is start using them. Because I thought to myself, why did I record those things? Yeah, I recorded them to share. But what gave me the inspiration and the motivation to create them? Because they don't just come out. I have to think about them, record them, I have to edit them, I have to put all the music and all this stuff, and then I put them up, and it's quite a lot of work. And there's quite a lot of learning goes into my brain, as it were, to get that information out. I have to put it in to get it out. So I've got it. Why don't I use them? And I thought, I don't know why, but I'm going to. Because I obviously did it for an intention. I just forgot what the intention was. And part of that intention was to help me personally. So what I'm going to do, and what I do anyway, is on Sundays, and it doesn't have to be Sunday afternoon or morning, it's Sundays, sometime on a Sunday, I will just pick up my diary, and on the diary I have, it's a plain page diary. There's no dates on it. I open up to a fresh, clean, double page, as it were. And these are my, brain dumping. So what didn't I do last week? And I'll just go through it, and I've ticked off all the things I've done. Oh, there's one or two that I haven't done. Before I write them down, I just decide, am I actually going to ever do them? Do I want to do them? Do I have a positive intention? Do I have something I need, I want from that? And if there is, I write those down. And then I go through the rest of the week, the things I know I have to do, the things I'm committed to. So it could well be the clients I've got. It could be the Q&A that I do. It could be the coaching calls I do. It could be going to the gym, yoga on a Monday. I put those down. They're the ones I know. They're in there. Hell, that seems to be part of a structure, really, but never mind. And then I put down the things I know I want to do in that week. And I then just start to think, okay, some things I'm actually going to put down. These are cast in. They're cast in stone, because that's what I really want to do. Yes, I can move them if I need to, but this is what I'm committing to. And I think about things, so, what is the intention of doing this? Because if I can understand that, my intention, my positive intention for doing it, and it still motivates me, then I know I'm going to do it. And if I think about the intention, actually start thinking, well, Paul, it's a bit of a wish list, this thing is part of a wish list. You've written about it for the last 5 weeks. Yeah, you'd love to do it. You're going to do it or not? And if I think to myself, well, yes, I'm going to do that, I'm going to make a little note, work on this, because there's something missing where that motivation isn't quite where it is. So what is holding me back? So there's a little thing. I'm going to do that. But then I'll also think of various things that I just want to do randomly. So there's a structure with randoms in. So I know I'm going to do journaling. I know I'm going to do stretching. I know I'm going to do the gym, and I'll put gym and think of the processes I'm going to use. What do I want to get out of it? I'll think about my reading. So just thinking, I'm going to read for half an hour every day, maybe. Now, I know I'm not going to. That would be silly, because I know I'm not going to do that. But I might think, well, how much reading do I really want to do? Now, I want to do half hour every day. Okay. If that happens, that's great. But what would be the minimum amount of reading and learning that I would do that really makes this week something I can be proud of? Even if it was only half hour's worth of really good, deep reading to learn something, and I learn one thing, that'd be an awesome week, wouldn't it? And I can do that. So I'd put that down. And I'd start to think of what days they may be done. And then when it comes to Monday, hey, I know the things I've got to do if I've got appointments. And then I pick one of those others and say, that's what I'm going to do this afternoon at 2 o'clock. I'm going to the gym at 2. And I'm also going to do that reading when I come back. And I'm just before I get back into everything, I've had my shower, I'm just going to read for half an hour so I can relax into it. But it all becomes a structure. But it's not a structure that I'm telling myself more than anything. They're not rules. But I do know, without that, where would my week be? Think about it. I mean, I know, and I don't know about you, but if I haven't got that flexible structure, nothing has a difference. Flexible structure with intention. I can look back over a week and go, do you know what? I've done a lot of things. But have I achieved anything? Really achieved it? And there'll be one or two, but it won't be the most productive of weeks. Because I didn't set my intention. I think that's one of the biggest things I always come back to, isn't it? Setting our intention. Setting your intention, setting your state. Oh, have we got those in hypnosis and NLP processes on your website, Paul? I think I have. Here, I'll tell you about them now, shall I? So many of you are now signing on to the hypnosis tracks at paulcloughonline.com/podcast. Now, why would you want to do that if you haven't done it already? And I want to tell you, because you keep them all in one place. There's no searching. There's no searching through 250 odd podcasts to find that one hypnosis track you want. And because they're all in one place, you can look through them and suddenly see things that you've forgotten about. And you may want to then listen to that type of hypnosis track. It's just, you've got an issue, you can go down that page and you find them. And the good thing about this is you will also receive updates via email of all the latest hypnosis tracks. So if you miss that podcast, you won't miss a hypnosis track. They're all there for you. You'll also get a few little free gifts in hypnosis and discounts onto the bigger programs that I have. It's a simple one-page part of my website with a list of all of those hypnosis tracks. And guess what? They're all downloadable and they're all free. So you get them. All you have to do is sign in. Sign in to paulcloughonline.com/podcast. It's as simple as that. That was the how, by the way. I know some people, I'm not, some people are a bit worried about people sharing emails. The reason I'm not is because I don't do it. Don't do it ever. Anyway, if you want all those hypnosis tracks, you want to get updates on your email, and you also want maybe a few free gifts and discounts on the programs, go to paulcloughonline.com/podcast. You'll love it. There you go. I thought I might have them. But there's so many things we could do. I'd love you to just start to think now of what type of structure could you put in place that would allow you to have a morning routine, an evening routine, something else in the day type routine, because there are some things that you might have to do at lunchtime or in the afternoon or mid-morning or just before you go to bed. And start to write them down. And as you write them down in our good old Jenny journal, I'd like you to make a little circle beside each one, a big circle, and write down inside that circle, what's your intention for doing this? What's the purpose? And then as you think about that purpose, just think about if you were to go maybe a couple of weeks, a month into the future, not millions of miles and years in the future, just a couple of weeks, maybe a month in the future, of imagining having done that particular thing in those days, in those weeks, over that period of time, 2 weeks, maybe a month. What would you have learned? What would you have achieved? How successful would you have been of getting that? And what opportunities would that allow you to take, seize, create? Oh, I think we're creating inductively now, aren't we? Taking the details and blowing out to the big picture. And then working from that and then feeling the feeling of having been successful. Because when you have that feeling, the next time you start to write, when you write this down, as in what you're doing, or when you even think about doing that thing in the morning, you're going to get that feeling of having already been successful. And that will motivate you. It will not push you, because being pushed is like having the rules again. It will pull you. And then as that pull gets stronger, you get more momentum. And as you get more momentum, that motivation just increases. And guess what happens? You get more successful. When you get more successful, guess what? You seem to get more luckier. You seem to be in the right places for coincidences. Good ones. Opportunities. Oh, serendipity comes knocking on your door. So many things happen. All from a little bit of structure. But a little bit of structure, I think, doing it in a way that you get true positive emotion by setting your intention and thinking inductively, seeing all the opportunities that you maybe couldn't have seen before, but now you can. And then it'll become a habit. And this is what successful people do. They're creating a habit. It's no longer a ritual, a rule. It's things that they just want to do. Wanna is a word. And it's something you're going to want to do because you'll start just to do it. So I wonder, here's a challenge. We're all in this brand new year. We've got lots of things that we're going to be hoping we're going to do. And hope is good. There's no such thing as false hope. But taking that hope, that wish, and create it in our reality. My challenge is to you is to start just to think and write these things down. Notice what you want to do. Notice what could be your morning, evening routines that are going to create a massive change over a period of time. Little changes make massive changes. Note your intentions and then start to plan these out. But every time you plan them, think of the result. That's what will pull you through it easily and effortlessly. And I guarantee it's like that before and after picture. When we do our review, you're going to go, oh, Cluffy, I am so pleased you said to me, challenge me, because I'm getting so lucky the opportunities are coming my way. I am successful, whatever that means to anybody. But the thing is, it won't stop there. That's the whole point. This will not stop. It'll be like that snowball going down the hill. It'll start to get bigger and bigger in positivity. It'll be like a spiral that goes upwards. And you're going to start influencing people without even knowing it. Because they're going to see you being, in brackets, air quotes, or whatever they like to call it, being successful and enjoying that success and enjoying the steps to make that success. And you're going to become like a role model without knowing it. You'll become not only the change you want to be in yourself, but you'll become the change you want to see in others. You'll be sending out ripples of change that you will never know how far they go. Wouldn't that be awesome? And it all starts with a little bit of intention. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope we're going to be coming back to this time and time again, because I'm going to be doing my bit. I want you to do your bit. I'd love you to give me the feedback at personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. That's the email address. Send some feedback. And if there's any problems you're getting, things that are not quite, you want a little bit of help. I'd love to do this, but something is stopping me. A bit like I've got to work on the things that I've got to work on. Let me know. And we'll talk about it. We'll find a process, find a way to create even more freedom. Okay? Because I want to help. Because me helping you helps me and helps everyone else. It's that, integrated feel of learning again. And anyway, one last sip of my coffee. And I'll wait for your suggestions for my tea, so I can do my relaxation, my meditation, my thinking, my reading, and I'll put it into my structure, my routine. So until then, Until the next time, have a life of freedom with structure and be more successful than you could ever dream of. Until then, live every heartbeat more and more and more. As if you could just wake up in the morning and go, another day in paradise. Yay! What fun can I have today? Hey, it's Paul. Speak to you soon. Did you enjoy that? I hope you did. If you got anything out of that, I'd love your feedback. If you think there's something I could do even better, I'd love your feedback. If you think there's something that I could help you with, I'd love your feedback. How do you do that? Well, you send me an email, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. Simple as that. I'll answer every email personally, and I'll treasure your email address. Keep it completely private. And if you did get something out of this or any of the other shorter podcasts, the 5-minute quickies, or the other longer podcasts, please do share them, because by sharing you're helping other people, which is awesome, but you're also getting the audience of this community to grow. And as it grows, we will make a difference. We'll make a difference right in your own neighborhood. It will be awesome. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love you to subscribe, get the words right, Paul, through iTunes, Castbox, anywhere you get this download from. Because when you do that, it'll come to your device on a Wednesday and a Saturday without you even thinking. And it also just helps distribute this even further. They take their algorithms from subscriptions and things like that. That would be awesome if you could do that. And just remember, as usual, those old hypnosis tapes, those old hypnosis tracks I've got for you at paulcloughonline.com/podcast. They're free, but they're also awesomely good. The quality is so much more than the price. The price is pay it forward. That's all it is. Until then, until the next time, I'll see you around. Bye.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.